So I hope you have tried to identify the errors. Now let me show you what were the two errors in this particular formula. In order to show that, let me drag this and copy the formula till the end of this file. So category A gets 15% discount, which is correct. There is 0% here. Nowhere we have mentioned 0%. So we'll have to check that. B is 20%, which is fine, and further down everything is 0%. And why has this happened? So let's examine this particular cell here. This is referring to C, and we had written that part of C here, which is this is A part, B part, and C part is this one. It compares if E17 is equal to F13. E17 is this is the E column, is comparing to F13 and not this column. It is supposed to compare this particular column here, which is F1 and not F13. And why has this happened? This is because of the basic nature of Excel formula. When you copy paste a formula, it takes up the relative position of cell IDs. So in the first formula, when you wrote the formula, it said compare this cell, which is immediately to its left, to the cell which is 1, 2, 3, 4th, on the fourth position above it, and take an action. So that's exactly what it has done. It has compared the cell on its left to the fourth cell, which is 1, 2, 3, and fourth cell, and taken an action. And this is the 13th cell, F13. So how do we correct this? We have to change the cell IDs of these cells which are occurring in the formula to absolute cell IDs, not relative. In order to do that, we use $ before the column ID and before the row ID. So let's do that here. We don't have to change this one to absolute because we have to keep checking the corresponding row. But these cells we have to change. So E5 is $F, $1, and then it should be $F, $2, and similarly the other ones. So let me quickly do that. And now we double click here. That corrected one part of the error. So now we have for A 15%, B 20%, C 5%, D 10%, E 25%, and F 20%. What are these 20%? Why are these appearing here? That is because of the last part of the formula. So we are saying compare till E, and if you don't find up to E, then apply 20%. So because we have dragged and copied the formula even in this cell, it is applying the last condition, which is 20%. In order to remove such errors, you should compare each and every condition. So here we should, instead of directly writing I2, we should have another condition here saying if this cell is equal to this cell, then perform I2, otherwise we can say it should be empty. So which is quotation mark. And there is some error here. Let's see what is the error. If P9, which is this, is equal to I1, which is this, then I2, otherwise quotation mark. And the error was we did not complete the additional bracket. We have to change this to absolute value. Okay. And we are going to drag this upwards as well as downwards by double clicking. So now all the empty cells error have disappeared. So there were two errors here. One was the absolute reference cell is needed in such cases where you are referring to cell IDs located somewhere in the Excel sheet. And the second was compare each and every test and then apply the actions. So as I said, the first one, we did the nested if. There were two errors in it. We edited those two errors, which was part 2, where we performed each and every logical test and added an empty cell wherever there was no comparison available. And now finally, for the last bit of improvisation on this particular formula, we see that there are, for category code B and category code F, the discounts are the same, which is 20%. So instead of writing two logical ifs, we will combine them in one by having OR functions here. So here we can say if, and we will add OR in brackets if P5 is B or P5 is, I'm going to just type F. You can refer to that cell also. So here we have written OR condition inside if or any one of this is true, then 20%. And we are going to remove the last bit here. So this is for the purpose of F. So we will remove this part. The last condition is if it compares for E, and if it is E, then 25%, otherwise the empty cell. So we hit enter here. Now there is a formula error or typo error because the number of brackets are more now. So it's going to remove the number of brackets. For example, 1, 2, and this one is already completed, the OR bracket, 3, 4, and 5. And here we have 6. So we are going to remove, it is automatically going to remove that, and that's done. And we are going to double click here. This was the little bit of improvisation where you see you can have common results, then you can apply it within OR or AND function within a single if statement.